Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will explain to you the making of our modeled handle bag that I prepared from the clerk. This type of bags are very fashionable this year. The model is really beautiful. Look, we started without a sole. We started with a flat handle. I will share how to make a very easy handle. They can be prepared and used very easily. If you make and sell this type of bags, I definitely recommend you to try this model. You can use it not only in this type of bags, but also as a shoulder bag or a portfolio bag. You can also work based. Again, how can you work on a based basis? I tried to explain it in detail in the video. You can easily use this as a tote bag, a backpack, or a large beach bag. The size of our bag was 30 centimeters wide and 33 centimeters long. I used approximately 400 grams of paper. I tried to share its preparation with you in detail. I hope it will be useful. Let's move on to the recipe. I will use Spaghetti Yarn's cotton macrame rope to describe my bag. The texture of our rope is closely like this. I will have 4 millimeters in my crochet number. I used paper in my bag here. My paper rope was thin. I used 2.5 millimeters of crochet hook. You can determine your crochet number according to the thinness and thickness of your yarn, the tightness and looseness of the one you have not knitted. See here, bag. This type of bags are very fashionable this year. Bags that start directly with a baseless model are very fashionable, but if you want to work with a base, for example, you can apply this model on a rectangular round oval base with the single needle technique, or you can apply this model on ready-made bases. Our model consists of multiples of 8. Here I started by drawing a direct chain. We build our model on the chain. If you don't want to deal with counting, you can pull your chains until you reach the size you want. If you are not going to count this here, you definitely need to pull the chains too much. Now we will do it together. My model is 8 here. I put 8 models. It was 30 centimeters wide. I am giving measurements here, but the thinness and thickness of our rope may be different. Our knitting density and looseness may be different. This will definitely affect the measurement. Here I knitted 30 centimeters, but your yarn is thick. If you put 8 models, we can have more, or your rope is thin and you put the same number of models. However, since your rope is thin, the measurement may be smaller. Even if we use the same yarn and the same crochet number, the measurements may be a few centimeters more or less because our knitting density and looseness will be different. It is also worth mentioning this. Now we start by pulling a chain. If there are beginners among us, how to draw the chain, how to make single crochet, double crochet. I have shared the detailed video before. I will add the link to the description section of our video. You can access it by clicking there. I'm making my first chain into a lock. Then I start shooting. As I said, the model consists of multiples of 8. While we are pulling our chains here, we do not pull them too tightly because they are the starting chains. We prepare our chains so that they are a little looser than the setting we knitted. Here, as I said, our model consists of multiples of 8 and I put 8 models here. You can extend or reduce this as you wish. I prepared this as a shoulder bag, but it can also be prepared as a portway bag or clutch bag. Now to explain our model, let's quickly draw our chains. If you don't want to bother counting the number of chains like me, make sure to pull more. We can easily remove this increased chain later by cutting or disassembling it. Now see here, I have pulled my chains like this. We leave our last chain. We start the next chain with single crochet by inserting it directly. We have 2 stitches. We knit single needle. We started with single crochet. We start counting from the next chain by wrapping it around the beginning of our crochet hook. We are knitting a double handrail by leaving 123 chains and sinking directly into the 4th chain. We have the inside knowledge. We wrap them together again. We knit them together and knit a double handrail. We wrap them again. Now we knit 2 locks and 3 double handrails in this gap. Now we wrap the second double handrail in the same gap. Our 3rd double handrail. There is a chain in between and we went around it. We knit 3 double handrails by sinking into the same chain in the same space again. If there are people who think I did it too fast at this point, you can slow down the video or vice versa, speed up the video. After crocheting our first pattern, we worked on the 4th chain. We knitted a chain of 3 handrails, 3 handrails. Now we can't wrap it around the head of our crochet. We remove the loop by leaving the first, second, third chains directly below and sinking directly into the fourth chain. We have 2 stitches. Squeeze needle, we knit. Here, after the single crochet, we wrap it around the head of our crochet hook and insert it into the first, second, third, fourth chain, removing the stitch and knitting a double crochet, 3 more in the same space. Double handrail. Third double handrail in the same space. There's a chain in between. We wrapped 3 more double handrails in the same space, 3 more handrails, a chain, 3 handrails. Our model is formed like this in the first row, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Single needle by sinking into the chain. Now look here, just as I worked on these 2 models, I said that I put 8 models here. Here I now show a small example. I continued this process until there were 8 models. Of course, your chain will be larger. There may be 8 more processes for this process. It doesn't have to be 8. You can increase your model as much as you want, according to the size you want. Now I will knit another model. Let's continue to make the comeback together. Here, after turning the third model, after 3 handrails, 1, 2, 3, 4, we directly insert into the chain and knit single needle. Now let's say that we have too many chains like this at this point. Look at it directly. I will cut it. It is almost no problem to cut it. So don't be afraid. You can cut it easily. Now I'm getting bored of that chain over there. Look, I cut it and tightened it. I locked this point again. Now I will knit this short rope by hiding it. You can cut it this way. You can remove your rope instead of cutting it. If you have left too much, you can remove your string to avoid wasting it. Now, we made our single needle here. Again, we established our model as in other points. We made 3 handrails, 1 chain and 3 handrails. We knitted our single needle here. After the single crochet stitch, we fill it into the beginning of our crochet hook. We are coming to this point. We will no longer count chains in the space here. After the single crochet, we will make a direct turn and apply the same model we did here. Look, we are knitting 3 double handrails by sinking into the wide gap of the chain where we built the model. 2, 3, a chain in between. We knit 3 double handrails in the same space again. Since I'm showing the model, I am knitting it a little fast. We've knitted 3 handrails at these points. Now after the handrail, a single needle comes. We need to make a single needle. What are we going to do for this? We do not bother with counting the chain. We come to the model and knit 3 double handrails by sinking into the chain where the second model is installed. Every once in a while we knit 3 double handrails in the same space again. I pull it from time to time because there are chains so it doesn't get stuck like that. Now we have a single crochet point after the banister and we come to the chain where the single crochet is and knit a single crochet. Now look, the models are set up like this. Here I come to my last model and knit 3 handrails by sinking into the wide gap here. I'm knitting a chain again and 3 double crochets in the same space. Look, I've completed my row. This is my starting row. As I said, I'm describing 3 models here, but you can make them bigger or smaller. Now, where the first single crochet is, look at the top point. This is where we will sink into the back single wing of the single needle. Here, we insert into the back single wing of our starting single needle, remove the stitch and slip it from our other stitch. Our finish line. If you lose this point, you can put it on a safety pin, but since the model was very clear, I did not need the safety pin. Now we will continue to slide from the points where our handrails are. Another slide by sinking into the back single wing of the first railing. Sink to the next railing and slide again. Look, we continue the shifting process in this way until the first handrail of our first model after a chain. I sank to the next railing and made another slide. Now we have a gap of 1 chain. I sink into the back single wing of this and make the loop and slide it. Now in our model here, I am sinking into the headspace of the 3 handrails, 1 chain, 3 handrails of the next handrail after the chain. Now we sink directly into the headspace, not into the back single wing, remove the loop and slide it from our other loop. Look here, it became a scrolling point, it became a transition point. Now we will build the second row of our model. Here we come to the top of the banister. We draw 3 chains, we wrapped it around the head of our crochet hook. To the next banister, we make a loop by sinking. We had 3 stitches, we got around, we knit the first 2 first, 2 stitches are left on the hook. Now, since it is a chain start, there is 1 stitch missing here. Now we will see it in the next model. We got around this. We knit the first 2 stitches again by sinking into the next handrail. That is the third handrail. 2 stitches are left on the hook. We got around. We don't touch the tight needle point here at all. We have 3 handrails here. We continue exactly as we did here. We come to the first handrail and knit the first 2 stitches after the single crochet. The other stitch is waiting on the crochet hook. We got around. We knit the first 2 stitches by sinking to the next banister. We got around. We went down to the third railing and knitted the first 2 stitches and kept the stitches waiting like this. 2, 4, we have 6 stitches. Since it is a chain, there are 6 stitches at the beginning. We gather the stitches in this way at the beginning. We fill them at the beginning of our knitting needle. We pass the rope we wrapped through all the stitches at once and close it. After this closing, we knit 1, 2, 3, 4. We are making 5, 6, 7 chains by wrapping them around the head of our crochet hook. Look now. We are working on a total of 6 handrail points at the end and header part of the handrail. We will proceed by working on the end and beginning handrails of the models in this way. Now we don't touch the chain point at all. We do not touch the tight needle after 1, 2, 3 crochets from one chain to the next. We will gather the 1, 2, 3 handrails here by taking the first 2 stitches and move forward. Now after a chain, I sink to the first railing again and knit the first 2 stitches. It waits when I knit 2 stitches. I got around, I move to the next railing and knit the first 2 stitches again. I keep it in crochet. I got around, I sink to the third railing and knit the first 2 stitches again. I keep it on my hook. I got around, I never touch single needle. I sink to the next railing, knit the first 2 stitches and let them wait, wrap them around. I sink to the second railing, knit the first 2 stitches and let them wait. I sink to the third railing, knit the first 2 stitches and let them wait. Now look, we have 2, 4, 6, 7 stitches here. In the beginning there were 6 because it was a chain. Now we have 7 stitches here, these are 7. Now we are collecting the stitch in one go. I completed it by gathering all the stitches at once, and we have made a chain of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 7. We are filling it to the beginning of the hook. Look again, the same process continues here. After the chain, there are 3 handrails. There is a single needle in between. We do not touch. There are 1, 2, 3 handrail points again. Let's start right away. Let's show it a little faster. We took the first 2 stitches of the 3 handrails after the last chain and gathered them. We never touch single needle. Look, we have 1, 2, 3 handrails here. We sink them one by one and knit the first 2 stitches. The stitches are waiting on the crochet hook. Again, there are 2, 4, 6, 7 stitches. We gathered them at once. We made a chain of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just like the other parts. Look, we made the return in this way. After 7 chains, we come to the next railing after the chain and take the first 2 stitches again. We do not touch at all. We sink to the next banister and repeat the same operations, closing 7 stitches at once and chaining 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we continue the same process again. Look, we have made the turn like this. Now we will continue this process until the end of the row. Let's come to the end of the line. Let's continue this point together. Here we come to the end of the line. We took the first 2 stitches of our 3 handrails and held the stitches with a crochet hook. Now see, there is a transition point here where we scroll. Now we don't touch the single needle here. We have 1, 2, 3 handrail points here. Again, wrapping it around the beginning of our crochet hook. Look here, there are points where we shifted after the chain. There are 1, 2, 3 handrail points, and this point is single crochet. We do not touch single needle. Look, the handrails from which we have removed the single rear wing and whose front wing remains are waiting. We sink into the banister here, remove a loop and knit the first 2 stitches into the headspace. we got around. So the rough sliding part is hidden between the banisters. We went around again. We removed the stitch by sinking into the top space of the second handrail, which we slide into the back single channel of the handrail and knit the first 2 stitches. We got around. We apply the same process to the third handrail. Here again we have 2, 4, 6, 7 stitches. We collected it in one go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Here we now complete the sequence. Look, we don't have any handrail points left to knit. After 7 chains, we reached the top point where we made 7 chains by collecting the stitches we started with. Look, let's show the other part like this. It will be understood more clearly when we keep it like this. See it this way. It is also worth saying this was the starting point, then it will be here. In this model, the loops, that is the joining point, slip. It's not obvious in any way. The beginning and ending are shifting. We arrived after 7 chains. Look at this gap where the first 7 chains we started with are. We slide the stitch by sinking into this top space where the first chain is and to the point where we collect the stitches. Then we wrap it around the top of the one. We go up with 1, 2, 3 chains. Now we knit 2 double handrails inside this chain. One we dipped into the same gap again and knitted the second double handrail. Together with the chain at the beginning, we have 3 handrails. Now we come to the first row. We will repeat the first row exactly, but the points where we will sink are different. After 3 handrails, we knit 3 double handrails by pulling a chain and sinking into the same gap again. 1, 2, and 3. We knitted our 3 double handrails again. We set up our model exactly the same. Here we come now. Here we had 7 chains, and at the bottom of our model there was a handrail, a chain, a handrail point. This is the chain, and there is a chain at the bottom. Now look, after the handrail we sink directly into a chain gap. In the meantime, these 7 chains remain. The point where these 7 chains are located is in between. I'm making a loop from here. I have 2 stitches. I am knitting single crochet. Look, the chain structure has disappeared in the meantime. After the single crochet, I fill it directly to the head of the crochet hook. I collected the stitches coming here and there. I collected 6 stitches. I drew 7 chains, sinking directly to this top point. I knit 3 handrails, 1 chain, 3 handrails in the same space. Now a chain again in the same space. By sinking, I am knitting 3 double handrails, 2, 3, so I have repeated the same model I made in the first row. There are 7 chains in between and there is a gap of 1 chain in the bottom row. 7, I do not touch the chain at all. I sink directly into the gap between the handrails in a chain and remove a stitch from there. 7. The chain gets lost in between and I knit a single needle. Now we have wrapped it around again. Here we are, look, we are just around the corner. Again, 3 double handrails sinking into the same headspace of the model here. We have a chain in between. We knit 3 double handrails in the same space again. Look at it this way, this is the corner point, and we are here again. There is a 7 chain space at the bottom where our model is located. This one sinks directly into the gap of 1 chain and remains in the gap of 7 chains. In this part, we knit a single needle at this point. Look, we made the return this way. This is already the order in which we finished our model. This is how the model progresses. Look, we made our return. We will proceed in the same way. This is the part we are working on now. 3 handrails, 1 chain, 3 handrails. The single crochet point is this 1 chain space. These 7 chains are lost in the meantime. See, like here. The macrame thread also looked really nice. Now let's complete the sequence like this. Let us share with you how we will start to the next level again. We have come to the end of our row. After knitting 3 rows of ribs and 1 chain of 3 rows, we sink into the 1 chain space at the bottom and knit a single double crochet. Look again after this single crochet. We will move forward by scrolling here. We will move on to our 7 chain model here. So we will repeat the same process we did in the second row. What matters to us here are endings and beginnings. Look, we do the ending like this. I'm not touching the 3 chains here. I come to the back single wing where the handrail is. I take off the loop and slide it. I make a shift here. Since there is a shift, the point of the chain coincides. This shift now sinks the next handrail and another slip, sinks into the gap where there is a chain and another slip. Now we sink to the point where we will knit our model, that is the top space of the handrail after the chain. Now that we are going to work on the model here, we shift and make 3 chains. It is exactly the same as the process we did in the second row. We inserted the banisters and knitted the first 2 stitches. We skipped the single crochet point. We sink to the next handrail, knit the first 2 stitches of the 3 handrails and leave the other stitches on the hook. At the beginning, we said that we had 2, 4, 6 stitches. We collect this at once and make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chains. Then we leave a gap of 1 chain and sink to the next banister and repeat the same process. We jump to the single crochet point. We knit the first 2 stitches by sinking into the points where the handrails are. Now we have 7 stitches. We collected it in one go. We chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now look, the model consists of 2 rows. Let's complete this row. Let's start with you again and show you the ending. Let's continue to the next row. We came to the end. After 7 chains, we dipped into the first 2 loops of the next handrail from 1 chain and made the other stitches wait. Now look here, there is the point where we finish and the point where we started with the chain. There are 2 handrails and there is a point of 3 chains. Now we sink into the 3rd chain of this chain, remove the stitch and repeat the first stitch. We are knitting the loop, we wrapped it around. Look, the 2 handrail points are here, the wing is now, the second handrail is sinking in vain. We make a loop and hold it, we sink to the next handrail, we make a stitch again and hold it. We have 7 stitches again, we collect 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chains at once. This was the first point where we started. We come to the top point here. After the chain, look, we come to the top space where we collect the first stitches, shift and pull 3 chains again and knit 3 handrails. At this point, we knit 2 handrails with the chain. We have 3 handrails with the chain, a chain in between, 3 double handrails in the same space. Look here, we are back to the first row. We said it consists of 2 rows. Our model is now, we had a chain space in the bottom row. We do not touch the 7 chain point at all. We directly sink into the 1 chain gap between the handrails and knit single needles. Then we wrap it. The next point is the top space where we collect the stitches. We move on to this gap with 3 handrails, a chain in between and 3 handrails. Look, this is now. We do the finish in this way. Look, let's show it with paper here. We finish the finish in this order. To finish, we will sink into the 3rd chain, slide it, and cut it with the chain. Now let me show you a closure at this point. Let's show you how we break the rope of the chain. I completed our model. Look again, 3 handrails, a chain, 3 handrails. We are coming. We knit the single needle in the lower model into the 1 chain space in between. This point should not be too broad. We knit our single needle. And you can also sink into the 3rd chain at the beginning or the first railing here. I sink to the first railing and slide. After the scroll, I'm pulling a chain here, and I cut my rope enough. I take it out of my loop and bring this rope back in from this point. And by squeezing it like this, I pass it through the gaps where the handrails are. This rope is easily hidden. Look at the model like this, and the bottom of the bag is quite smooth. Look at the model, it does not stay on the edge like this. A row of the model remains on the edge. When we knit the handrails, a row appears right at the top. This is like a tiny wallet. It is really very stylish and beautiful. The macrame thread is definitely there. I recommend you to try it. It is easier to knit, of course. This is the macrame yarn. Look, we have completed the other part this way. Now we will move on to making our handle. I used a very easy technique on the handle. I just pulled a chain. Here I made my paper rope in 5 layers. Look at such an image. Big, big, big chains. How did I do that? By doing 5 layers. I used 2.5 mm crochet hook while knitting with paper thread. I used 4 mm crochet hook while knitting the handle. Here's my rope. After folding it like this and making 4 or 5 layers, I left some rope at the beginning. Of course, it is necessary to use a thicker crochet number here since I am knitting with macrame. For example, I had a 5mm crochet hook with me right now. This is how I draw chains. There is no difference. I'm just pulling a chain. This is not too tight either. I pull it so that it is slightly flexible. I prepare my handles by pulling a chain like this. I immediately prepared it like this. I want to show you another handle. I will share with you how I installed it right away. Look. The ends are like this, with 5 layers of paper string. My chain I prepared. Now I'm putting my macrame rope aside. You can also make different handles. Look, I had 8 models here. 4 of them remained in the middle. There were 2 pieces left on the edges between the handles. I turned my knitting like this. Here I immediately place my first handle. See 2 models. I'm sinking into the 1 chain gap where the single crochet in the last row is. I left this short. I passed my rope to the ends here. After this break, I will definitely fix my chain. Let the flat outside look like this. After passing my rope from this point, I come here and sink into my chain. Like this, I'm sinking into my chain. I take the rope I took inside, put my hook back into the ends of the rope, and pull it out from this point. This point may be a bit challenging. See, this is how I spent it. Again, I sink this rope coming out into the 1 chain gap between the handrails. I'm bringing the rope in again here. Like this. I took this rope in. Now I will go through this part one more time. From the same void I sank into, I will pass it through here once more and sink into the gap of a chain again, and I will take these ropes inside and hide them. Like this. Look, we have made the connection quite easily. Now use the short remaining threads with a smaller numbered crochet hook. Look, I knitted this bag with a crochet number 2.5. I am passing this bag through the gaps with a crochet number 2.5. You can also pass it through these parts one by one. You can pass them all together. After strengthening the threads well, if you have leftover threads, you can cut it after securing it. Again, I will hide these remaining ropes in the railings and completely destroy my ropes. You can sew a lining on it, you can use it with a lining, you can sew it with snaps, you can sew a zipper. The size was really perfect. Let's complete our bag and see the final version of our bag together. This is the last view of our bag. It was really easy and enjoyable to make. It had a very simple construction. I enjoyed it very much while working. I hope you like it and try it too. I wish good luck to those who will do it. Don't forget to like our video, leave a comment and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see you in the next video.